Hi, my name is Paul Sotheby, and I want to tell you about an unusual experience I had many years ago where I thought I saw angels. So let me go into a little bit of the background of what was going on in my life, and then we'll get right to it. When I was growing up, my mother used to read me Bible stories, and I just fell in love with those Bible stories. I mean, they became real to me. They were more than just stories. There was like a stirring of faith inside of me to accomplish something big with my life. I didn't know what it was, didn't know what I wanted to do, but it was something there was that seed. She also gave me autobiographies of children's stories, autobiography books, and one of them was Sadhu Sundar Sin. That was a man from India, a holy man that became a Christian and went out India, still dressed in his holy man outfit, his garb, his robe, and he went around talking to people about the Lord and some of the experiences he went through. One of the experiences that the author of the book, I don't think it was Sadhu Sundar Sin, but the last time that the author of the book, I believe, this is years, decades ago that I read the book, but he saw Sadar Sundar Sin at the edge of a jungle, and he saw a black leopard come out of the jungle, and Sadar Sundar Sin just looked at him. And the black, leopard looked at him, a panther looked at him, and it's a panther, and they just kind of looked at each other, and they just walked back into the jungle. There was, the feeling I got from writing the book that there was concern that this panther was going to kill Sadhu Sundar Sin, but there just seemed to be no evidence of that, and it was almost like God was protecting him, and then he went about sharing the Lord with more of his people. But she also gave me a book on Laterno, and I've mentioned this before, but that book was very fascinating. Here's a man who had something like close to 300 patents. Basically, he was and 75% of the earth-moving equipment in the World War II was from his company, because he came up with these phenomenal earth-moving equipment ideas, and he implemented them. And he was the kind of person that he ended up giving away like 90% of his income that he made from all his patents and from his company. He and his wife didn't think they needed all that money, and they built a school and other things. So here I am, I'm thinking big thoughts. I'm thinking, wow, I could really accomplish something big with my life. You know how it is, kids, when they're growing up, they want to be maybe an astronaut or whatever. That's kind of what was birthing in me, just that childlike wonder and idea that, so I could do something fantastic with my life. Well, I looked at my mom, and I knew that somehow financially we were struggling. And I was going like, who makes the most money in the world? And I was thinking to myself, well, salesmen. Salesmen make the most money in the world. That was my conclusion at that time. Not programmers, not at that time, but it was salesmen. So I was, that's kind of the conclusion I had. And so I was thinking, my first adventure as a kid in sales was with I don't know where I got it, but I got this kind of like a magazine, kind of a kids magazine, and they talked about this starting a route and having a business, and the company, you were selling a product that people would eat, and it was called Rocky Mountain Munchies. That was my first big adventure into the business world. And it was tough because I was so shy. It's like, you mean you have to go talk to people and sell the idea? No sales training, just, kind of a kid, but still having this dream, of doing something big. And I thought to myself, God, if I could, with your help, I could make a lot of money doing something. I could make maybe $1 million. Well, is that enough for God? I mean, I could do a lot more than that, maybe 10 million. And then I just kept adding zeros. I won't tell you how high I got. Okay, because, I got pretty high. And I'm not saying that that's impossible, but at that time, it was not probable for a lot of reasons. But anyways, I started going to the small church, and they had a building in Sunnyvale. Then they bought a building in Mountain View, and then they sold that building. And with the proceeds from the sale of that building, I believe they were able to build this building in San Jose, California, and it was free and clear. They had made enough money off the other one. It was just it's an amazing story about how that happened. I won't go into all the details. But anyways, when they moved, I was living in Mountain View. When they moved from Mountain View to San Jose, I just felt like I needed to get out on my own. I was about 22 years old, and I just said to myself, I need to get out on my own and try and make something of my life. Now, I didn't have all that much education, I didn't have a BS or anything. I just, I'm going to go out and be this salesman. And, but during this process, Rocky Mountain Munchies never really went big for me. I just didn't have that drive. I didn't have, I was shy and talking to people. It was tough. I think I ended up putting the box underneath my bed. I think maybe I ate all the product. It was a long time ago. But I kind of felt like a failure. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was moving out on my own. I was moving with a bunch of guys. We rented this house in San Jose, and then I was close to the San Jose church, and I needed to find a job down there. And I found a job. I'm walking around, handing out applications, or filling out applications, and I wanted a job close to the church. So I found this job, and I became a furniture salesman, and for a company called Repo Depot. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was that was interesting. I think I was there for about 8 years. But it's just like when you're full of stories of wonder and things you want to accomplish, and you want to do something big with your life and everything, and you're walking out of the house to be out on your own for the very first time. I remember just a sense of just despair and depression and just sadness. And I opened the door. This was, we lived on, I don't want to tell you exactly where we lived, but it was in Sunnyvale. It was an apartment. It was with my mom. And I opened up the door. I closed the door. And I'm just looking. I believe it was a red door, kind of a dark red door. And I'm just looking at the door. And I just hung my head. I was just so sad and depressed. And I just thought to myself, because I felt like a salesman failure. Like I think I might have been about 22. And I was just thinking, man, I haven't got anything. None of this stuff I've tried has worked out. And just feeling just a sense of despair. And I'm looking at the door, and I hang my head down, and I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if my heart can stop from sadness. And it if you think about Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, he asked his disciples to pray with him. And he says, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even to the point of death. It was something like that. I'm paraphrasing. You can look it up. And I was just thinking to myself, I wonder if I'm so depressed, my heart's going to stop. that's, I was depressed. And I'm just kind of just standing there in front of the door, looking down at the door. And all of a sudden, the atmosphere changed all around me. And I'm going, what's going on? You know, I move my head up and I'm looking at the door and I'm going, what's changed? What's happening? And I looked down to my right, and to my right there was this long, like cement path. There was a brick wall on the left, and on the right were a bunch more apartments. And at the very end, there was this small, like a 3-4 foot high, black metal gate that went into the carport. And I looked down this, and what did I see? Well, I saw nothing physical, but on the left, going down this pathway, on the left and on the right, there were a bunch of angels. I'm going, angels? Now, it's like I could kind of make them out, but it's like they weren't there. They weren't there in a physical sense. It was like I was seeing something. I'm going, what's going on? Is this real? Okay. And I'm going, is this my imagination? Am I imagining this? And I'm looking at these two angels in the front. And I start to think, well, if this is my imagination, I'll make them bigger. So I imagine I'm looking at them and I make them bigger. I said, okay, that's interesting. And I'm walking towards them. And something, I just said, just let's just go with this. Whatever's going on, just go with it. And as I approached them, they were on my left and they were on my right. And as I started walking through the center of them, they started cheering. And I'm going, what in the world is going on? They're cheering for me. And I'm just, listening to it. And part of me says, well, are they patting me on the back? And imagine that. And I said, no, don't imagine. Just go with whatever's going on, whatever this experience is. And they were cheering. And I kept walking straight to the gate. I put my hand on the gate and I turned around. And when I turned around, it was all gone. The experience was gone. The feeling in the atmosphere, it was all gone. And I'm thinking to myself, what just happened? What just happened? Was that a vision? Did I have a vision? I mean, was that real? Was my heart? Was this a self? Was my body aware that I was in real danger, and it manufactured this whole thing in my mind so that, I wouldn't die? I mean, was I that depressed? But what happened was I went away in a state of wonder, and there was hope, a little bit of hope in my heart. I said, maybe that was real. Maybe God just did something for me. Maybe God just encouraged me. Maybe it's going to be okay. I don't see what the future is. I don't see where this is all going to lead, but maybe I'm going to make it. And so I drove away, and I went down and I started living my life down there. And so I thought I'd just share that experience, because it was a real experience. And understanding what that was at that time was, it was, I had no reference point. Who do you talk to? Hey, I think I just saw angels, man. Have you ever seen angels? I just kind of put that aside in my back of my mind saying, wow, that was amazing. And so I just thought I'd share that experience. And what's kind of interesting is years later, I was sharing not this experience, but other experiences, things I'd received, things that have happened in my life that would just seemed real. I mean, it's more than just coincidence. And I was handed the book, you know, by Jonathan Welton, Welton. Now, School of the Seers, Seers, and he starts talking about, you know, how to move in a supernatural experiences, how to bring the Bible alive in a supernatural way. And to me, you know, as I look at this, I think this was like a divine encounter showing me that there's, you know, there's more out there than I realized. And to, you know, it was something that, you know, I wasn't trying to manufacture this whole experience. It just happened. It was amazing. And so it's like, if you go to YouTube and look up Jonathan Welton, he has a 4-part series on, you know, some of the supernatural things and similar things to what I've gone through, and he's able to communicate kind of like from a biblical standpoint how this all kind of ties together. And the book also has activation at the end of the chapters that you can try to, you know, to try to go into a supernatural place and a supernatural experience and take Christianity to a level that maybe that is more than just an intellectual assenting to the morals and, yeah, this is good or whatever, where you're actually in more communication with God. I highly recommend the 4 videos and also the book. But anyways, God bless you. I hope this touches you in some way. And, you know, if some of the things I've said, you're saying, God, I wonder if this stuff is real. Can I just invite you to ask Jesus Christ into your heart now? You know, just say a simple prayer like, Lord Jesus, will you please show me if you're real or not? You know, help me to believe. Show me. And I think he will. But, you know, keep your eyes open after you pray that prayer. And because I think God will start to reveal himself to you. But it's a journey. It's not like all of a sudden you get this download and you understand everything. It doesn't work that way. It's like a child learning to walk. And you fall down, you get yourself back up, and you fall down and get yourself back up. And finally, someday it's just like you're walking. And that's kind of how Christianity is. Anyways, God bless you. Have a great day.